Hey everybody, this is CJ with the Mighty WaaAaagh. Well, welcome to today's episode here, episode 2 today. We're going to be talking about a few luck things here. I got the guys here. I've got Colin, Billy, and Scott here with me. Everybody say hi.
Hey.
How's it going, guys?
How's it going, guys?
All right, so we got a few things we're going to talk about today, so let's go and get the show rolling here. First thing is we're going to talk about the community news and the LVO coverage. LVO, man, looks like we had quite a few IronJawz lists actually go in.
Oh yeah.
Didn't do too hot, but again, it's destruction. And I think our top guy placed 35. Scott, you got the results there for that?
I have got the results right here. Our top IronJawz, we placed... No. So the top destruction was actually Beast Claw Raider list, which was 35th. IronJawz, we scraped into the top 50, which actually is pretty good for us. 47th.
Yeah.
I don't have what list that was right now. That would be... it would be interesting to see which list that was.
Well, what we do is we could always post that up on the Facebook page here. That winning, the winning list, at least the top, not the winning list, but the top list. Who made it there for everyone to see it here? Who played that list? Let's go ahead and give that person a shout out here, if you don't mind.
I would, but it doesn't show on the document I have got up at the moment. So sorry to that lovely IronJawz player, but number 47. You're here.
Well, number 47, we'll make sure we get you a shout out here on the Mighty WaaAaagh page here coming up here once we find out who the hell you are.
We will, and we'll post it with the list as well when we put that up. That'll probably work as well too. But we'll also give him a shout out on the show. But definitely, yeah, when we post the list, we'll have his name and everything on there too.
Yeah, we'll make sure we get everybody listed in there too, as representation of our Mighty WaaAaagh. And so forth. So you guys, it don't matter where you place, your winners in our hearts.
Yep. Oh yeah, especially if you look at the results. I mean, you've got right at the top, you got a really, really cool death list for Flesh Eater Courts, and then you've got Order coming in at second, third, fourth, fifth, and then another death list, and then Chaos coming in 8th with a Zinch list. And I think that sends quite a bit of a message. I mean, LVO is only one tournament, but to have every faction in the top 10,
there was
destruction down
many there?
35th. Pardon?
I think there were over how many? I
think there's 107 people participating. There's 107, I believe.
129 on the document.
Oh, 129. Jeez.
That's insane for a huge tournament like the LVO.
Yeah.
And looking at this, looking at the bottom page, unfortunately, we've got IronJawz 127th, IronJawz 119, IronJawz 113, and IronJawz 108. And I've looked over these lists of the rest of our players. And you guys, list building was great on a whole. I really, really liked them. But there's just really tough competition at the moment for us. Quite frankly.
And hopefully that will change for us here in the future, which we really, really want for sure. So
yeah, I just saw that post for the New York toy show. Was it the
New York Toy Fair?
Yes.
The Toy Fair coming up. And they had the new release of some new Stormcast models, right? And, that just kind of grinds my gears. I think we talked about it a little bit last week when we're thinking like, man, new armies are coming out. They have the Carrion box set now where it's the Flesh Eater Courts and the Skaven, right?
Yep.
So we're really hoping like, man, hopefully they start expanding this a little bit more. And then the next, Shadespire unit that comes out is more of the golden-coated sane men, right? Like not even some humans, not some cool wizards or something from the Stormcast. even in in the Small Shade Spire, what would be wicked would be like a forger of the Sigmarites, right? Of all the all the Stormcasts, and he would have like a special ability that would buff up all their saves when you play him in the actual game, right? The 2,000 point game. So much they can do, and just them pumping out these same men is just kind of like almost a slap in the face, right? We did get a little love with the Gloomspite Gits and that, but I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of them. Again, another Stormcast units coming out. Like we've got what 6 different units. We should get some love.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier on there when you asked about CJ. I wasn't impressed. It was a chance for them to really push something a little different for Age of Sigmar, because the 40K stuff that they pushed.
That looks amazing.
Was actually, yeah, it was different. It wasn't.
Yeah.
There wasn't a Space Marine in sight unless you're counting the Funko Pop heads. But the new
which does look pretty cool here. Would love to see some Age of Sigmar stuff come out.
I'm not saying that I am going to get the Space Wolf one because it kind of looks like me, but I am saying I'm going to get it because I got to represent my sorry, job interviews and such.
We get you a Fire Slayer one now too.
I got to grow it back out. I just got to trim.
Yeah.
But you saw their box, and it was all the different humans that you would find, or humans, quote unquote, or human type. You might know the name better than I would. A servitor was in there, for God's sakes. That's the one that got me. I was like, really? And then we come back to ours, and it's the same thing. The only thing that was Stormcast related that was on there that I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting, is the fact that it looks like they might be pushing the different chambers. And if they do that, they could give them different rule sets. Because I'm not a huge fan of Stormcast vanilla. I like the idea of the different chapters of it. The different storm hosts or chambers. I think is it the Templars, the ones in the purple that fight in beasts all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they have in the audiobooks they appear, and they're led by, who has his own book now. They're led by the Hamilcar the Bear Eater, who was just the most badass dude ever, and he's got a gloriously big beard. He's loud. He's boisterous. He goes into fights. He doesn't give a
his
shit.
name Bear Eater. Jeez.
He's the Bear Eater. Yeah, he killed and ate a bear at one point, I'm guessing. In the lore of it, he took on Manfred's mount in a fight. He lost, but he was like, "You bring it. Let's do this. Let's humble." And
come on.
Yeah, he didn't make it too
Real
long
quick,
with that. But I was
did you hear about that dude who choked out a cougar?
Apparently, the cougar was.
I'm sorry, you're talking about this. Buddy's going on a hike. Cougar, it's like a juvenile, attacks him. He chokes it out and then hikes to the hospital to get treatment.
Yeah, he had his face all
insane.
The video of him talking about what he had to do is pretty crazy, where he finally was able to choke it by putting his knee on its throat while it was biting his hand. And I'm like, well, once again, you have that moment of like, okay, you're a Stormcast. I understand. You should go. You made it. You passed the test.
Yeah. He would have just gotten shot up by Sigmar if he did fall on that one.
He didn't shoot it or anything because he didn't have a weapon. He was trying to get it to leave him alone, and he goes and he chokes it. But that's what you think of when it's like, okay, well, what about the Stormcasts that are from the chamber that are closest to Shyish? How do they behave? Well, let's make a book. I will accept a Stormcast book, chamber book, where it goes through, okay, you can take these different chambers as your storm host, and you get this benefit, which they have already done, but they should really push it for each individual one. They're by making it so that you don't have to introduce new Stormcast every few months. I'm trying to help us too with that. I have to say, Forge World making it so that you could put heads on them that aren't, the blank expressionless faces is kind of cool too. But Forge World always does good stuff, so
Yeah.
Forge World definitely does for sure.
Praise the Rogue Idol.
All praise the Rogue Idol. All praise the.
Where's the belly? Where's the idol?
I got one.
Mine's in a box.
The idol, the big Gork idol. Where is he? Oh, he's all tucked away. One sec. I'll pull him out.
Gotta go with Billy's homemade one though. Let's be fair.
I think we need to make that the page mascot. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right, I'll finish painting them up once I get some of the IronJawz done.
Yeah, I gotta
put some good detail in them, like making the mascot.
Get your heart out, Forge World. Suck it.
We've all got one.
That's what he should look like. Okay, now you guys make me a little jealous. Now I'm gonna have to go buy one.
When I was looking at the Rogue Idol to begin with, right? Like my first impression of it was like, yeah, it's pretty cool. But then at the same time, think about it afterwards. He's got kind of like scraggly arms, and like he just looks like a big mound, kind of, right? And I think like they could have done so much more with it.
My wife's been trying to do more with me, but she knew what she was getting into. But that's besides the point. So hopefully, guys, everybody had a good Valentine's Day here. So, but that's what's going on with the LVO, and another thing with the news too. We got you mentioned it already here, Colin. Here we got the Carrion Empire box coming out here with the Skaven and the FEC, the Flesh Eater Quartz. I don't know about you guys, but I got my box ordered. My buddy Dan is going to take the Skaven side. He's kind of a rat bastard anyway, so that's going to fit perfectly. Shout out to your brother Dan. Love you, brother. Hopefully I'm going to have him on as a guest here coming up in one of our future episodes too. He's very knowledgeable with everything, because him trying to pick an army is like trying to pull teeth. So
we've all been there.
We've all been there. Or like me, I've probably bought and played every army at least 15 times. I won't tell you how much money I've put into Games Workshop. Let's just say I can own stock.
Yeah.
And if my wife watches this here, I
yeah.
But yeah, that's we got the pre-orders coming out. Well, it was last week for that. Everything's out here this tomorrow. Matter of fact, unless your FLGS there's really cool, and some of you guys have gotten the stock in like on Thursday here yesterday and got it early. I know some people are posting up on the pages about it. So, but hey, lucky all you lucky bastards out there. There's just more stuff for us IronJawz to beat up on.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
and then hopefully we'll see ours for sure.
Yeah.
But anybody else got anything for news wise you guys want to go through before we switch up to the next subject?
No, nothing on my mind.
All right, so sorry, Colin, go ahead.
No, nothing's really going on.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead, and as everyone can see, the three guys are pretty much doing something already. They're either painting or they're putting something together here. So we're going to go ahead and move on to what's on everybody's plates here. So Billy, we'll work down the line here. What you got going on? What's on your plate?
Right on. I'm getting these art boys done as much as I can. So I'm just doing something real basic on them. Nothing fancy. I'm just trying to get out.
Yeah, because you got your tournament coming up this weekend, don't you?
I do. It's tomorrow. So I'm trying to get these guys done. I got my blue boys. They're all going to be my double-handed ones. They're all kind of almost there. And then the yellow guys, they're all my shielded. They're the yellow bellies because they're chicken shit because they all have shields. And then I got these guys, which are going to be, they were fighting in Chaos World, so they have a whole bunch of corn kind of on them. So this guy was done. I had him kind of finished for a skirmish campaign. So this is kind of what I'm going for with all of them, is just do them different colors and then do that blue war paint over top of them.
Nice.
To make it look like they're all the same army. But
so
like,
how many models do you have to go?
Yeah.
How many you got to go?
Oh, how many to go? Oh, too many. It's 10, 20, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 26 on the table here to get painted up and get going. So I'm going to be up a little late tonight, I think. So
no one ask Billy any further questions. We'll just set him to the side and let him Scott, what you got going on? What's on your plate, bud?
So I've been working, as you know from last week, on my Chogoths. Got this guy done and based. And as you can see, there's the mushroom there on the base.
So good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
As soon as they're done, they'll be up on the page.
So what's his name?
He hasn't got one yet.
That's Snorkel. Call him.
Oh, I'm thinking Jerry. I'm thinking
Jerry.
Thinking Jerry.
I'm Arby's, but no.
And then I've just made up this mushroom.
He did. I watched him do it.
I was literally it's still right. It's still curing. Just got the chogs to finish, and then when playing a game last week, I dropped poor Dave, one of my hard boys, my only hard boy in my 10-man unit with a shield.
Poor Dave.
Everybody's dead, Dave. So yeah, I need to do a repair on him. But besides that, just gonna chill and enjoy the show.
Steve got a concussion?
Don't know. No sense, no feeling.
Have you had the shaman look at him at least?
Well, pretty sure the shaman's response would be a little bit too shouty. Get back in the fight.
Beat him up.
He gave him a mushroom that told him to call him in the morning.
Call him in the morning. Yeah. All right, Colin, what you got going on in your plate there, brother?
All right, I've got a couple of different things going on because I'm as indecisive as I always am sometimes about this.
It happens.
It happens. So I've been digging up other armies to paint that I already own, and as you can see, the beasts are there.
They're looking good.
These guys, I did them a while ago. Because I was always trying to decide if I wanted to give them a mark or not. You know, make them part of the Slanesh or Khorne or anything like that. I kind of settled on nothing, so I can kind of manipulate it around or something like that. I want to go with more earthy tones. Like, these guys aren't... It's not that they're not evil. Obviously, they are. But I don't like the idea of having to devote myself to a singular god of chaos because I like a little bit of each aspect. I have the old school Beast Lord before they made him non-existent anymore, which is always weird because they still have the other one from the same timeline. I always thought that was weird. I think this guy looks cooler anyways. Whatever, I'll just say he has 2 hand axes. I got my shaman done. That's
nice.
As you see.
He looks bad.
He does look bad. He's the Pope Goat, as you can see. He's got the little thing. Pope Goat. And I am also...
Is his name Billy?
He's... Was it Ansel from that one video that I found of a goat that just destroyed everything? And in pieces right now, because I don't want to paint them before I put them together, is the old Malagor model, who's just going to be another Bray Shaman, obviously. Because Bray Shamans now are actually worth taking, even though before they were better than the Beast Lord, but not by much. Now they're worth taking because of all the magic. But that's not what everybody's here to see. I'm going to move the goats out of the way. Get out of here.
There they are.
There they are. I'm still working on them. I take forever to paint just because I'm like, I have to do every single little detail. So my Mad Lads are being worked on. I'm almost done. Yes, I stole this idea from someone else. I don't care. We do that. Everybody steals this idea. If you haven't done this already and you want to try it, do it. It makes them look so different and it adds a little dynamicness to them. As you can see, I'm pretty much done with their skin. I just grabbed the boss, I guess, of the unit to kind of show him off. And I put some white behind it. And he's almost done. It's a kind of an olive skin, obviously, tone to him. Give him the little pink on the lip and the nose to kind of break it up. Making the armor look a little bit more bone-like than the other ones because it is kind of, you know.
Yeah.
So once he's done, once I've done his hair, and I think I got I got to do the metal pieces on it, the little rivets. After I'm done with all that, I'm going to put the war paint on the boys. So the war paint's going to match my bone splitters that I have because, like I said, these are kind of the mercenary unit that got a little too crazy because I hung out with them for a little too long. But once that's done, I'm going to probably, if I don't go right back to working on IronJawz and just put my goats in every now and then, I might do the goats completely. I'm not sure yet. I'm always kind of working on something.
Just depends on how you wake up and how you're feeling in the morning.
Yeah. Am I in a mushroom mood, or do I want to have some kebab with some goat? You know, that's how it is.
Oh, and I forgot to say, I'm excited. I just got a whole whack ton of these corks, and I'm going to be doing some cool things with them too. I'm going to be making bases for these art boys after the weekend. During the week, nice. I'm going to be doing that. going to be doing some other cool things with them as well. But yeah, apparently, talk to my family. I'm like, hey, I need corks, and apparently my family's all alcoholics because I'm just getting crap from everybody. So either they have something that nobody really knew or cared about, and they're just like, yeah, sure, take them all now, or they're going to start one for me. So that's cool. I'm going to end up getting a whole bunch of these just wine corks, right? And start making some bases.
If you need any plain corks or you need any cork bark, I'm your guy because I bought a shitload of it when I was going to do my Ideneth Aquaman army.
Nice.
And now it's just sitting in the bag, going to be unused.
No one wants those fish, those dirty fish.
If I want fish, I'll just go to Long John Silver's or Captain D's.
The bloody eels, honestly.
Sorry.
I played against a tournament, and I actually managed those eels and everything pretty well.
Well, we can't ended up just like you, Billy. Sorry.
I held one objective with some of the guys, and I just sent my Gorgruntas out after them, and just kind of I was waiting for that deep strike to come in of all the rest of them afterwards. So I was just kind of holding the objectives in the center of the map, and then as soon as his guys came in, I charged my Maw Crusher and all my brutes right after him, leaving like the War Chanter just to keep giving me objective points, right? So it might have just been a fluky situation, but I found the Gorgrunter to those eels, like they were bulky enough not to just get slaughtered right away.
It must have been a fluke, as you said. That's a fluke.
He must have only been playing 3 of them.
Dolphin, god damn it.
Yeah.
It must have been only 3.
He had 2 units of 3, I think it was, and the other one just couldn't quite in just because of the scenery.
Yeah.
Haha.
You got lucky. But they fly.
Oh shit! But they need to have like.
You still got to be able to place them.
Yeah, it was like the scenery was like one of those wall pieces or whatever. He wasn't able to place them on it at all, right? So it was just kind of my luck, I guess.
I can't
you gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Yeah.
Let's see, that's the issue that we're finding, and we can always talk about it later, how those kind of armies have really odd rules that don't really fit. And they're just like, they slammed on some extra rules like, oh, they don't take Ren. Why? They're eels. All right.
Yeah.
Have you ever stabbed an eel? I mean, I haven't because I'm not a psychopath, but I imagine somebody could go to an aquarium and go, why is this rend working? I don't just
running into an aquarium with a knife trying to stab the eels. It's research.
I work for GW. He doesn't work for GW.
The next thing you know, you're being chased by security and tased.
Yeah, it's the same thing with like how Night Haunt get like some special rule if they make a charge over 10 inches.
Whatever, don't.
Which once again, what's the explanation?
Like, I get the Nighthaunt, like they can't take rent. They're ghosts. Like you can't slice a ghost properly. Like I get that, but how do they become solid enough to rend us?
It's their weapons. Their weapons aren't. I don't know. Magic.
You guys are really looking too much into the game here.
No, we're not. We're looking just the right amount. You're not making enough, CJ. You're part of big GW pay money to not promote that. I'm calling it now.
Well, when you're holding stock into the company, you know.
But it's just like, I understand, but let's get an explanation. Like, you could say that, you know, well, why is it a -1 to hit, was it Yetis in close combat? Because they're cold and you're cold now, because they give off aura. Like,
yeah.
It's cold.
Yeah.
Cold, or, just like a majority of our wives and girlfriends.
There you go.
Not saying a word.
I really hope my wife doesn't watch this episode.
CJ.
No girl watches this. Sorry. It's just a bunch of guys.
I don't know. I think we had a few girls that signed up here for the page.
Yeah, well.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to you, lovely ladies.
CJ.
Ladies
what's
of the
going
law.
on in your hobby?
Matter of fact, I got another Mark Buttle. I'm just approving you right now for the Mighty WaaAaagh.
There you go.
You are our 97th member. 97 members here, folks. I wanted to be 100 here, hopefully here, but I'll take a 97 here and not even having Mighty WaaAaagh up for over a week yet. So
yeah, no, that's
nice placement there. I'm not going to say anything, but you could always join the IronJawz Facebook page. I'm just saying.
I think that's where a lot of these people are coming from, though.
I
too,
know.
We already have 2,000
they...
plus members, so what are you guys waiting for?
Yeah, exactly. Just saying, I want to throw my plug in there. I'm sitting at like 90 people on Instagram right now. And I think I started that maybe 2 weeks ago as well. And I already got 90 people right now. It would be cool to hit 100 before I go to the tournament tomorrow. Just saying. But
so what? So since you're already shamelessly plugging your page, let's go ahead and finish that up here.
I'll shamelessly plug.
Yeah, that's in place there, guys. Follow me on Instagram and on Facebook too. I'm trying to do on Twitch as well, but I had some technical problems. I'm going to be trying to do that later, hopefully.
Scott, you might as well get yours out of the way too.
I wasn't going to. I'm always the plug guy. I wasn't going to. So I wasn't
going to label out.
I wasn't going to, but it seems it's open.
He was going to wait till it's kind of sneaking into the episode
I
here.
totally didn't have this speech written.
So yeah, my Instagram's iron_mini_painting. I've recently posted up a 40K model as well. But mainly it's my IronJawz that go up on the page. 109 followers. Since when was it? Since the 29th of January. I do not think that's bad at all. But yeah,
no,
chuck us a follow. I usually follow back because I like to see what you guys are up to on hobby-wise as well.
Yeah, definitely get on Instagram and check out those pages if you have Instagram. They are fantastic. A lot of great painting and a lot of great content.
I gotta start doing that.
Speaking of painting, CJ, what have you been up to?
Let's see here. Well, I've as you guys know, I've got an airbrush finally. I've joined the many here and took full advantage of that sweet $80 deal from Amazon, where people were complaining that, oh, this is crap, you shouldn't get this. I tell you what, it was the best investment ever. I have literally everything primed and at least the ghost colored on the hex flame on everything. It's taken me, I probably put in, normally painting wise, it usually takes me about maybe a 10-man unit will take me about 4 or 5 days because of my schedule and stuff with work has taken me a day, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I'm just finishing up my Maw Crusher now. I've had to completely tear down my gun and clean it out completely because the piston got crudded over. Cool. Other than that, man, that's all I've got going on. Pictures are going to be coming in as soon as I promise. I'll try to get some tonight, if not tomorrow, to post up so people could start flaming them.
Well, dude, if you like them, you like them. Don't let anyone say anything different. People that put grey models on the table can just walk away. That's why I like. I'm doing a campaign at the moment. Actually, it was the last day of play today, and you get points for winning. You get points for sportsmanship, and you also get points for painting. And what I really like about it is that the sportsmanship and the painting are kept secret. Your opponent doesn't know what score you give them. So it really gives a motivation to get stuff painted, etc. If somebody doesn't like my work, they can't give it a bad vote. They have to do it on the skill, not if they like it or not. Because every Stormcast army I'd face would just get a 1.
Of course.
It's not. It's not the case.
But that's pretty much what's sounds like what's on everybody's plates, man. So that's kind of cool. Yeah. Well, that brings up to us to our main subject here today. Our main subject is basically a lot of people are wanting to know how to get started with IronJawz. So what we're going to do is Scott is going to be covering this subject for us today. Basically on what's the best way when it comes to money and how to get started with the IronJawz. Scott, go ahead and take it away.
Okay, so one of the just a quick housekeeping thing. I will have to go through all the numbers I've got in 3 different currencies, so you're just gonna have to bear with me a little bit.
Oh god.
And that's
Yep.
that's the cool thing though. Scott actually did the research and took the time to get it in the most popular currencies too. So you people who are watching through the UK or the United States or New Zealand or Iceland or wherever you're at.
Canada, thanks, bud. Come on.
Okay, Canada. All right, dude.
You're part of North America. Deal with
You
it.
named off New Zealand before Canada. Come on.
Well, did you have hobbits in your country? No, New Zealand. There.
Okay, Canada. Sorry, you Canucks.
Make some
But
more of
yeah, he did the research and actually got it in the denominations, so that way you guys can know what the price points are and so forth. So Scott, I'll go ahead and leave it right up to you here.
Cheers. So there's 2 different ways that I personally would suggest starting the IronJawz army that gives you a nice broad coverage of most of our units, if not in some cases all of them. The first main chunk of the army I would do is there's a really good IronJawz army box on GW website. All my prices, etc., are from the GW page. This box consists of 3 Gore Grunters, 10 Hard Boys, 5 Brutes, a War Chanter, and a Mega Boss. So we will be covering at some point a unit breakdown and strengths and weaknesses. But this pretty much covers most of your starting bases. If you then add a Shaman and some Brutes, that gives you around another 5-man unit of Brutes in a separate box. That gives you 1,000 points exactly, if you're talking about General's Handbook points. So pricing this up, all 3 of those items together, the IronJawz army box, the Shaman, and the Brutes, you are looking at American dollar, 258, Canadian dollar, $308, or sterling pound, 154. I will do euros when it gets put on the Facebook page. What I'll do is I'll write up a big list and put it on the Facebook page for you guys.
Why is Canada so expensive?
I don't know.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right. Last time I looked at it, I'm checking it right now, but last time I looked at it, I thought it was like $206.
So $208 for the IronJawz army box, but if you add in the Shaman and the Brutes,
so you're adding the Shaman and the Brutes in there too.
Yeah,
okay.
Sorry, this is all for my mistake, guys. That this is all for the 1,000 points of the IronJawz army box, the Shaman, and the Brutes. So I'll repeat the prices again. There's 258 American dollars, 308 Canadian dollars, 154 sterling pound. And then I found possibly the 2 extra add-ons you can go whilst you're working on your 1,000-point games. You could throw in a start collecting box, which is nice because you can add on top 10 Hard Boys, 3 Gore Grunters, and a War Chanter, which having 20 Hard Boys is quite nice, but as Billy will tell you, a grind to paint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Shut up.
So this would bring the total cost up to 214 sterling pound, 423 Canadian dollars, or 353 American dollars. I almost said Australian then.
And Scott, I want to go and post something up here real quick. When I post something up, I'll piggyback off something here too. Just to give you guys an example how good the costs for these boxes are. In the U.S. here, a regular box of Gore Grunters for just 3 Gore Grunters is $79. That start collecting box for IronJawz is only $95.
Yeah,
so
brilliant.
a unit of our Art Boys is 53 by itself, and then the War Chanter by himself is $30. So start collecting boxes or army boxes if you can get your hands on them. This is the way to go.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've got some of the breakdowns here. If you have a Shaman and Brutes by themselves, that's if we're talking American dollars, that's 83. Bearing in mind that the whole of the IronJawz army box is only 175. Like it's brilliant cost wise.
Yeah, I mean, you're the Gore Grinder's in there. The Mega Boss is what 45, I think he is by himself.
Yeah.
You know, brutes are independently. They're looking
50.
at the 50.
Yeah, it's the IronJawz army box is amazing. I mean that you could, if you have the money for it, get 2 IronJawz army boxes, and a Shaman, and you're pretty much set. For well, that's how many points is that? That's 1,520 points if you were to get 2 IronJawz army boxes and a Shaman. Because the IronJawz army box by itself is 700 points, which is quite sizable for the amount you're paying. So yeah, you can add in the first option, which is the start collecting, or I have got a second option, which works out in all currencies a little bit more expensive, but you could add in a Maw Crusher. This would bring the total points up to 1,440 points. But whilst you're playing your 1,000-point games, you could be painting up that Maw Crusher, getting a feel for it, getting. Well, it's just a really nice model to paint.
Yeah.
And that would bring the whole price up to £219, 438 Canadian dollars, 368 American dollars. Which on a whole, to start 1,500 point army, for you to be spending £220, plus the book, so 250. I don't know exactly what that would come to in the other currencies off the top of my head. It will all be on the Facebook page. I personally think, I'm not sure what the other guys will say, that the IronJawz army box, Shaman and Brutes, you've got your 1,000 points. You're sorted then for at least to roll dice and have a feel for the army, because you've got one of every unit apart from the Maw Crusher there. And then I would add in the Maw Crusher to give yourself a nice 1,500 point list. You're exploring every unit in the army besides Gordrak. But Gordrak, Mega Boss, they serve basically the same job.
No.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So that's the way I would build it. What about you guys? How would you guys go about? Would you advise the first section and a start collecting, or would you guys jump straight into the Maw Crusher?
For me, it'd be
why?
dependent on availability here. So, I just picked up my Maw Crusher. Matter of fact, I got in a trade here. Did trade off my Ideneth that I was going to do to finish up my IronJawz army. So for me, how I started off with 2 start collecting boxes. It gave me 20 Yard Boys, 2 War Chanters. I got 6 Gorgrenas, and that was enough for me to get started in. And then everything else just kind of picked up here as I went. I picked up a box of Brutes. I got another box of Brutes coming. And I got my Maw Crusher. I'm all set to go. I do have a couple Mega Bosses, but that I may run because somebody last week mentioned something about taking 6 of them.
Yeah.
We're not gonna say who said it or that. Yeah, so that's where I started at here. So it just depends on how much cash you got and what you can get your hands on that's available.
Yeah, definitely. But one thing I will back off that, and you're gonna kick me for saying this, but you're
lucky you're over the pond.
You did lose out on. This is more for the viewers. You did lose out on a little bit of saving there agreed buying it in sections, etc., not spending all the money at once. But with the prices that I've got listed in front of me, could have saved a little bit more by starting with that IronJawz Army box, definitely, instead of going into the 2 start collecting boxes. Not to say you've done it wrong, obviously, financials and availability. I'm just trying to get everybody to save as much money as they can.
Well, and here's the thing, too. So this guy right here didn't realize there was a start collecting box on the WW website here until about an hour ago either. So
that is true.
You know, that is my fault. But yeah, I mean, I would have definitely started with the start collecting box because you've got your Gorgrenos, but you got pretty much everything that's in the start collecting box there with the Maw Crusher and a unit of brutes. You can't beat that.
You don't get the Maw Crusher; it's just Mega Boss on foot.
Or Mega Boss on foot. That's what I meant. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's still a massive saving.
My only concern with something like that, I've never been much into the army box, the entire army in one big piece where it's, you know, so many points and so much money. But my whole pushback from that is that you're getting into a brand new army that you don't understand the rules for potentially. Now, if you're someone who has done the research, has bought the book first, has watched a bunch of battle reports and stuff like that and reviews, and then you're like, well, I really want to get into this, then yeah, jump into that big army box. But some people are just feeling it out. I always say, because you need to understand what you're doing when you're getting into a new army. First of all, our IronJawz are in that weird area where they are both potential for a horde or an elite army.
Yep.
Neither side being perfect. I think that they work best, you know, when you collaborate between every single unit on the field. But the reason that they brought out the start collecting boxes is because you need to realize something. You're going to be painting potentially 20 to 30 Ardboys. You're going to paint some Gorgruntas, and here's a character that works pretty well for you. Are you willing to commit to something like this? I think each start collecting box is great for that reason of, we're going to give you some of the stuff that you're going to want, but you're not going to want to buy it by itself, and you're not going to want to paint. If you're going to paint 30 Ardboys at once, or even 20 Ardboys at once, you probably have a masochistic love of something, because we've all done it, and it's just the
matter of fact, Billy's doing it right now.
Yep. It's just, you don't think about it, but doing 10 of them is a grind. Doing 20 of them is a grind, and you don't
I know what you guys are talking about.
Yeah,
because of that. Now the other option is with the big army boxes, that you do have more options with that. You do have more, you know, let's say you do 5 Ardboys out of the 10, and you're like, I'm done with doing Ardboys for a little bit. Okay, well, jump over to a character. Have fun with a character for a little bit. I think that's the best part about any start collecting or army box, or even just the boosters by themselves. The characters are where the fun is at. So in a sense of in the idea that you're eating sushi, and I don't eat sushi personally, but I know people that do, so I hopefully get this right. But you're having sushi, well, you got to clear your palate. So get some ginger, right? So your characters are the ginger at that point. So make sure that if you are someone who is a grind specialist who can take an army and do an entire army in a month or a week or something crazy like that. Like, there's a video of some guy that did 90 Moon Clan Grots in the span of
yes. Crazy.
I mean, I've been there. We had a big thing a very long time ago when it was still fantasy, and I had to do a whole bunch of Grots just like that. And my eyes were bleeding by the end of it. I'm not like that person. I'm someone who, if I had to do anything, if I had to choose between those two, especially, I would probably choose to start collecting just to begin with. You once you do that, you have a better feel of what you're doing. Jump into the big one at that point. Now, like I said, if you're the other way, nobody said that to me.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Yeah. No, I usually it's get away from me. I have mace. That's what she said, and that's unfortunate. But if you're jumping into a brand new army, first of all, if you've never played any kind of tabletop before, this is a little out of the wheelhouse at that point. I think that if you're just getting into a tabletop game for the first time ever, you get a box. You get a single box. Doesn't matter what it is. For us, it can be a box of Ardboys, which I would not recommend that because that'll make you quit.
Brutes.
Or a box of Gorgruntas, you'll quit again. Get a box of Brutes. The brutes are the money makers.
I was thinking about this, and you guys were all missing the point so far, and I kind of wanted to bring it up. Shadespire, guys. Iron Skull boys, that's the perfect way to get into it and be like, hey, do I like
That's a
painting?
great point. That's a great point.
I like a tabletop game, right? How far am I going to get into this? Because there's people who play this game straight up just for the game. So they'll buy the models, just gray base it, and send them out to play because they just like the game. There's other people kind of like me who they like the creative side of it. They love to paint. I'm starting to make my own scenery and everything too, right? So it's however far you want to take this hobby. But getting into it, Iron Skull boys, that was $30 Canadian. That's what I saw them online for.
Yeah.
Get it. You can join up with pretty much any hobby store. They'll probably have some type of tournament or game night of Shadespire. Go in, play a game. They have all the tabletop, but paint, a brush, and your Iron Skull boys is what's going to cost you to see, do I like this game? Do I like this type of game? And do I like this army? Did I like to paint those 4 art boys? Because you're going to be painting a lot of freaking art boys.
Yeah,
like,
and
working out your paint scheme too, because you want to think about. Because I don't know about the rest of you, but I've had several times where you're halfway through painting an army and then you see a different scheme, whether it's skin or armor, and you're like, oh man, I want to do that now, but I've still got a pile of boys to do, but it's not enough to start a new army with, but I have to finish this army. Shucks. What am I?
To be fair, but Billy makes a great point, because these Iron Skull boys, I've got one in my hand right now, and they're beautiful models. Like how I started my army and really got the theme that I wanted. They are lovely models to paint, and if you've got a spare 80 points in your list and you've already got 2 War Chanters, don't add in a third. You don't need it. You just don't need it.
They're good for objective building, just kind of like
give me a chance to do
get in the way kind of boys. That's kind of what they're great for.
Not only that, you can fit them in with your art boys too if you wanted to. Here, it's just have some break up in the repetition of how the models look.
Yeah.
So, well, actually, quickly,
and they're good in the game. So they're good in Shadespire. I mean, regular game.
they're
they are good in Shadespire.
So, actually, teasing into a later episode, 2 nice little tricks you can do with the Iron Skull boys in a list. Use them in front of your shaman or in front of your mega boss to stop them getting directly charged and hit with a 1-inch weapon. Is a very nice little trick for them. Or in the first turn, whilst you're running forward with your battalion, Iron Fist, which most people use, leave them behind on the objective, because you need to be on that objective at the end of your turn to gain it. Leave them there. The rest of the army can charge forward, and that way you're not leaving a 10-man unit of Ard boys behind. You've got 1 set of 4. Your characters are all still in range. Your heroes are all still in range to buff, etc. You're not missing out on that objective at the start of the game. Oh, teaser into another week's episode there.
There we go.
Come back for more information.
Well, that's for
because I got a couple plans with the Iron Skull boys.
I got some plans too. Buy them. I gotta buy them.
I've got a bunch of them. So I think the only thing, but I don't have the Gits. I don't have the new destruction stuff. I don't have really any of the new stuff. I haven't gotten any.
I want Mollog.
Everybody wants Mollog.
I want Mollog. Yeah.
Everybody wants Mollog.
I don't want them.
I want the Gargant.
You're nobody. We all want Mollog.
I want the mini Gargant. He's gonna be sick.
Yeah.
I just know I'm going to be ordering my troll hag, and I'm going to be piercing her nipples, or I'm going to give her some pasties.
Nice.
Because that model was vicious on the table with her vomit.
Yeah.
On my last game that I played.
Yeah.
She's a beast.
Yeah, I'm going to be actually tomorrow because of the tournament. I played one there last week, a couple months ago. I got to store credit to it, so I'm actually going to pick up my own fungoid when I go in next week or tomorrow. Actually,
Yes.
I'm going to pick up a Fungoid Shaman to add into these guys as well.
The Fungoid's
Combat
worth
points.
taking now. He wasn't worth before, but he's worth taking now. So.
Amazing model.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
a little disappointed that he went up to 90 points, but
But he's worth it now.
absolutely.
He was not worth 80 points before when a regular shaman did more than he did. And now they kind of
Yeah.
changed where the regular shaman is okay, but the Fungoid's like, you want this Fungoid. I'm like, all right, I want the Fungoid. Like, I wanted it before.
Yeah, you want the Fungoid, yeah.
I think a Fungoid should be taken in every list.
Yeah.
At least once to help generate combat points.
To be fair, because of my really unluckiness with Foot of Gork, I'm starting to be more inclined to take the Fungoid over the Weird Knob. But the only reason I don't is because the Weird Knob's painting up for my army, and the Fungoid isn't.
Well, you can repaint him if you want.
No, I'll just buy a new one. Buy a second one. One for my trolls, one for my IronJawz.
Mushrooms for days. Is it your I feel like you're getting like gold doubloons out of there, like just throw it at him. No.
It's gonna be like dollar bills here.
Yeah.
Give me them Fungoids.
My shaman.
He's cute. What's his name?
Being carried by an ad boy. Daweirden.
The weird one?
Daweirden. Yep.
I named my weird knob Bjork.
Bjork.
He's Bjork the York shaman.
Has a swan around it, you know.
Yeah. CJ. So, you know, you keep asking me about my names for my armies. I've got 2 war chanters in my list. Can you take a guess at their names?
The weird one and the normal one.
No. No.
What's it close?
No.
The weird chanters, what are they?
No, they're 2 very famous
Penn and Teller.
Oh yes.
I remember now. Yes, I remember now from seeing your post.
There's a reason why one of them never gets any magic off. It doesn't talk.
Well, they're not shamans, but they are my war chanters.
What you need to do with your war chanters now, you have to have an IronJawz and Beast Claw ally army, and then bring a whole bunch of white saber tigers, and then just have them running around with Penn and Teller as well.
Frost sabers.
Do you know what Frost sabers?
And then you're like, oh man.
Well, Frost sabers overpriced, and the sculpts are awful. I use WaaAaagh. I'm going to straight out say it. I can't stand the sculpts.
Nobody uses the sculpts anymore. They all use Fenrisian wolves or something like that.
Yes, I use WaaAaagh because the face is a lot stubbier, and in fact, it fits a Mournfang a lot closer.
Scott being model racist there. That's harsh.
Oof.
Whoa! when you get a model that feet are like this, it's a little bit annoying.
Yeah. See, I like the Yetis.
Maybe he's got some rhythm. And he's tapping the beat out.
Happy feet. I got them. No, but in fairness, let me just get the prices up right now. This will be in pound. Frost sabers are £10 for 2. Yeah. So whereas WaaAaagh are £11 for 6.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can kind of see my my thinking there.
Yeah.
Well, I need to think about the stats though too. I can't just think about the money. Now, if there's like the same stats, I could definitely see the for sure.
I run the WaaAaagh models as Frost sabers.
Okay, so you're pretty much proxy.
Yeah, but
DW and proxy, so it counts.
My local doesn't care about.
It's not like you're taking a Griffhound and saying it's a Frost saber.
Yeah.
That's.
Or you're taking a dire wolf from the wolves themselves here.
Yeah.
And say they're Griffhounds.
This got off the rails really quick.
Oh yeah.
We did. What
Yeah,
happened?
kinda did.
You know, it was second episode. We were due to get off the rails here quick anyway.
I think we get a 5 episode leeway.
Yeah.
On the 5th episode, we got to stay on topic.
I think we lost a lot of viewers after I made my comment. So you know, it's.
So if you're still with us,
everything's about you.
Thumbs up for everyone that's still stuck by. All right, so Scott, anything more that you can you want to give us here before we go ahead and move on?
Not really. As I say, I will put a document together and throw euros in the document as well.
Don't forget the Australian boys too, who can never get models anyway.
And the Aussie boys.
I don't think there's enough. I don't think there's enough space for all the zeros. Sorry, guys, who down under. You guys get butchered when it comes to prices. I feel bad for you guys.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I do have a couple lists though with the starting armies as well.
How many art boys are in there?
None actually. The first list is just a 500-point list. It's a mega boss and 2 units of brutes, and that's just
that's evil. That is so evil.
Path and glory there all day long.
Right, I'm focusing on the IronJawz player here. I don't care who they're playing against. It's evil for who they're playing against.
It's about us.
But what I'm thinking here is 2 units. Get the feel for the game, understand what you're doing a little bit more, and then I have them upped up. And each time you up, it's like a different aspect of the game. So it's just learning the basics with the 500 points, 1,000 point. You get a couple new units, and we talk. A battalion gets added in. And then 1,500 points, you get the shaman, and then you learn magic and everything too. And at the 2,000 point mark, you have the whole army all together. You put everything you learn from the levels going up, and then to the 1,500 to 2,000. You get the feel for the game. You understand your army thoroughly, and I think it'll just be a good way. So it's off of these box sets that we're talking about as well. So you guys post what you want to post as well. I'll post what I'm posting too, and we'll have my list as well, talking about these steps to get a better understanding of the game and of your army. And hopefully by the 2,000 points, you're an IronJawz master, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think,
go ahead, Scott.
I said I think that's one of the things we're definitely going to cover. I think it. Possibly next episode or the episode after.
Still got to hash out what we're going to do here, but I think our next episode we're starting getting into the units here finally. Yeah. And what we'll do is we'll take the groups. We'll take headquarter units. We'll take battle line units, and then we'll take whatever else, scenery, all that kind of stuff here at the end. So that's the cool thing about IronJawz. There's not a lot that we really need to go through. We can group it all together, but then we can also, focus in here a little bit more in the depth here with tactics and stuff with particular individual units here, and we'll get you guys, our viewers, feedback on that too. So, and one thing I want to go ahead before I close up this segment here, so we can go ahead and continue moving on, because we don't want people to fall asleep on us here. Find out if you guys have any slow to grow leagues in your local stores or Path of Glory store. Path of Glory. Those are great ways to get into the game here, like Billy was saying here, and then with Scott and the box pricing and stuff like that. Where you can actually start off at a particular level and just grow from there with everybody else. Those are a lot of fun, and a lot of your FLGSs will do like a little tournament at the end. I know the couple that I have down here in the Cincinnati, Ohio area, they actually have prize support here for the end, which is pretty cool. So that's kind of neat. But that ends our segment here. With that here, if you guys do have any more questions, obviously go ahead and lay them out on the page. And you can also go to our email, send them to orklove.com. I can go ahead and get the information to the guys here and so forth too. And that's going to bring up our last segment of the episode today. Something a little new that we were kind of just tossing out here to throw it out. It's a new segment that I want to call, I wish they told me this. This basically is something that I think, Scott, you're going to post up here on both pages here, and we're going to go ahead and entertain feedback from them. And what we're going to do is Towards the end of the episodes, we'll pick out like 2 or 3 of these here, read them here on the page or on the cast here when we do our cast here, and kind of answer them in here or get feedback and stuff. So, Billy, let's start with you here while you're painting away, since we'll make you go first, and we know you've got like 3,000 Ard boys to finish up here today. What is one thing that you wish you would have been told here about getting into this game?
Honestly, to do your research beforehand. Like I said before, when we were talking in the first episode, our armies that we got into, it was a present. I ended up getting a Slaves to Darkness starter kit, and I just started buying thought were cool. Didn't turn out well.
Knew you.
Yeah. So I ended up taking that list that I had with the Chaos to a tournament. Got absolutely slaughtered, right? Not competitive at all.
But did you have a good time?
It was a good time because I love the game and it was just fun to play. But at the same time, it wasn't a great time because my army wasn't competitive. I couldn't really keep up with anybody else there, you know? So getting into the armies, looking up stuff like we're talking about now, and getting a good core to your army. So I'd say downloading war scrolls, PDFs and everything too, to kind of understand who your army is. I think those would be some good steps to take as well. That's kind of what I wish was told to me beforehand, because now I've got a Gaunt Summoner, Scarbrand, a bunch of Chaos Warriors, couple Skull Cannons, and some Skull Crushers right now. That's my Chaos army. It's got no synergy whatsoever, you know? And that's what I would like to know. So definitely look up your army, look up rules and everything too while doing it. That's what I'd say.
Scott, how about you, buddy?
So I'm going to take this slightly different route. One of the things that I wish somebody had told me specifically about IronJawz was how to use Inspiring Presence, when to use Inspiring Presence, and specifically due to our army due to the lack of our bravery. It's not something I had to worry about in my other armies, my Fire Slayers, my Boosker Raiders, Slanesh, didn't worry about bravery at all. It's just something that I wish well, yes, it was there on the war scroll, and it's my fault for not doing the full research. I just went, ooh, they look cool. They hit things hard.
Yeah.
I just wish somebody had told me a little bit more about the use of Inspiring Presence and the bravery factors in our army.
Some pretty good points there. Really good points there. Colin, what about you? What is something that somebody wished they would have told you?
Okay, so much like yourself, CJ, I've been in this for a very long time, so I can't go all the way back to when I was in middle school and someone telling me, "Don't do it. You just spend all your money and not talk to girls." So that more with the IronJawz at that point, which is something that I can trace back to playing orcs, 40k orcs, fantasy orcs into this, and it still holds true, as we've seen a lot of the things have come over from the old days, is that you need to understand that your army doesn't suck. It's underpowered in the sense that everybody else is overpowered. You are playing the game on hard. That's the one thing we've pushed with telling people. It's not that IronJawz suck, it's that they are not on the same scale when it comes to certain other armies. We are playing the game on hard mode, so that means that you have to become a little more... You have to be able to adapt to what's going on. You need to be
I like the word tactical in this case of point that you're making here.
Well, that's the God's honest truth. I can play a Stormcast Chamber that has nothing but this stupid Mortal Wound thing. I can play a Daughters of Cain or a Sylvaneth army that's just overpowered, as we've seen. I can do that, and I can do really well with that, as any of us can. But the thing is, that's not what I'm in this game for. I'm in this game because I like this particular army. Okay, well, how do they play? Well, they do not play as competitive as other armies do. So does that mean you give up on what you want to play just because you don't want to lose? Or do you think about the tactics behind your army and how they actually function? We are not a horde base in the same way anymore, and a lot of our attacks and boosting to the attacks happen in certain times during the game. So you need to figure out, how can I get the most bang for my buck at that point. Do not get disheartened. Do not listen to internet trolls telling you that your army is terrible and you should give up and you suck, and the classic get good mentality of things. That's not what you should think about. You need to sit there and you need to look at your army beforehand and go, okay, I'm underpowered, but how can I win? Because people can win with this army. So what have all of us have been there. All of us have been in that situation of, we just got romple stomped off the table. Well, what did you do wrong? Whether it's with this army or a different army. I remember playing with my IronJawz and just getting massacred, just obliterated, which was weird. I've never had that happen to me. Well, what happened? Well, you put yourself in situations that you shouldn't have put yourself in. You need to understand how your army functions. Okay, well, let me come back and try it again. It's hard. It's hard to have a newbie pick up the Night Haunt army and just rip you off the board, even though you've been playing this exact army for years. They were the first major AOS army that I got into. I played with, whatever I had beforehand, but this was the army that I invested in. I know this army. I know how it functions. Guess what? Night Haunt, it's point and click, and you win. That was very apparent in that game. Well, what happened? Well, how can I come back and deal with that? Okay, well, this is what you have to do. And I did that, and I started beating ghosts. Like, you can't sit there and you can't let yourself get down about it. And I understand a lot of younger people are getting into the game and they're used to, just buying an add-on or something like that with a game, or that's not how these guys function. These are, they look incredibly blunt, and they are incredibly blunt, but they're also very much, there's a finesse to their bluntness. We're performing. I'm performing a surgery on somebody, but all I'm given is a scalpel and a hammer. Meanwhile, everybody else gets, and everybody else gets to work instead of a hospital, and I have to work in the back of a truck. Now, can it be done? I guess it can. It's gonna have to be. So, what do you do at that point? Like, we're gonna talk more and more about these tactics when we get into the actual units, which is something I'm really excited about too. But don't let people tell you that your army sucks and you need to change.
Yeah,
absolutely, and that's where you gotta make sure you're playing the game too, because it's not just wham bam thank you ma'am kind of game. There's scenarios and there's objectives and stuff like that. So you want to make sure you know what you're actually going into and playing, and then kind of put a plan together. This is also a game of thinking. You do have to think with this game.
And now tomorrow I am doing the tournament. So what I'm going to be doing is I will be going live on my Instagram. I'll tell you all about my army list, what I'm taking, and I'll try and give
shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. Yeah. Shameless plug. But it
leave
will
the
be
money
something.
on the dresser and get out.
Okay, I'm going to drop. That's what she said on that one. Yeah.
It would just be cool to see, a game as it goes on throughout the day, right? A tournament, like, hey, I'm playing against Seraphin, or I'm going to be playing against Sylvaneth. I feel like I'm going to be seeing Tazik, Stormcast, and Sylvaneth showing up.
You assholes are making me download Instagram again. I hate you guys.
Hey.
I haven't.
But yeah, I'll be trying to go over some of that stuff because I think I have a decent plan to kind of counteract some of this that we're talking about.
Download. See, downloading Instagram again.
Oh, God.
Downloading. Thank you. Feeling the love for sure.
I hate Instagram.
Something that I think you just said too, CJ, and all of us can kind of agree on when it comes to this, especially since you're going to the tournament. Use the scenery to your advantage. Use the terrain to your advantage. And don't let the other person not know their army run out the time clock kind of thing. Because this happens a lot. I've been to several tournaments where they go, well, I don't really understand. I think I'm supposed to do this. That's on them. Make sure before your turn starts, you have a game plan of what you need to do, where you need to move, and what you need to accomplish potentially. But make sure that they are using the terrain as terrain, because there's a lot of times you'll see people set up like, well, let's just not use the terrain features at that point. Well, then
what's
what's the point?
I'm like, what are you doing? That's a tree.
Yeah.
By the size of it's been sitting there for 100 years. You can't just move that shit.
It's not a tree; it's a wildwood.
It's a wildwood.
It's a wildwood. Yeah, that's what it is.
It's a piece of shit. That's what it is. Sorry.
All right. So what is it that I? Let me see. Something I wish I would have been told. I wish I would have been told how much money I would have been putting into this game. Just kidding. Just kidding. No, actually, my thing is what I wish I would have been told is don't play the flavor of the month. You know, go through and a little bit of everything here that everyone's covered here. Pick something out that you're going to enjoy, that you think looks cool, and then play it. And you play it hard, and you keep at it, and you practice with it.
Yeah.
And don't lose hope. Don't get frustrated. Next thing you know, you're selling your $500 army for $250 on eBay here to go to the next flavor of the month. Don't do that, guys. Seriously. If you love it, stay with it. Think of it like your spouse. If you love them, stay with them. Not that I'm trying to throw any like Valentine's Day shenanigans or anything like that. In my case here, 20 years invested with mine. Why would I want to start all over again and do it all over again? I wouldn't. Trust me. She's crazy, and not just physically, but I'm crazy for her, and I've been with her for a period of time anyway for a reason. So, because she's got a nice butt, but that's besides the point. But no, seriously, everybody has made a great point here today with the things that I wish I was told. So, those are pretty much the biggest ones, I think. But let's hear what you guys have to say here too. We want to see in the comments here on the Mighty WaaAaagh page, and actually we'll put it on the Mighty WaaAaagh page here and link it over to the IronJawz page, because I want all the comments over on the Mighty WaaAaagh page. I want to get more people active with that. So Scott, I'm going to go ahead and put you in charge of putting the question up.
Right, so it's already up on both pages. May have to sort that one on the IronJawz page out, but I'm already on it.
There you go.
Good man. But I'll go ahead.
If you could, Colin, could you pin the one on the Age of Sigmar IronJawz? It's already pinned on, announced, sorry, on the Mighty WaaAaagh. Let's try and get this repped and get this community involved a little bit more.
Yeah,
absolutely. So definitely want to go ahead and thank everybody for watching today. Who are watching, of course. You can also go ahead and make sure you email us your questions, rebuttals, concerns, things that you'd like to see on orklove.com. That's ORRUKLOVE at gmail.com. Then you can also make sure you leave your messages there on the Mighty WaaAaagh page on Facebook as well. Maybe I'll get one of the guys to create a Instagram and maybe a Twitter as well for everybody here too. But we are actually going to be posting this up from the Mighty WaaAaagh page here today. I'm not going to post it right away because I'm going to let everybody who freaked out last week, it's only 42 minutes long, when it was actually an hour and 22 minutes here. On the video here, load up before I post. So, but other than that, I want to say thank you everybody here again. Now we're not going to have such a quick episode like we did here this week. We wanted to get a Friday episode out because we've got some things going on Sunday. Everybody did here. We'll probably be back on our regular schedule here next Sunday, or if not Sunday more. We will try to bring in content sooner if something huge and almighty comes out, so that way we could stay on top of it here with everybody else. And then do you guys want to go and get one last shameless plug into your pages real quick?
I'm good. I just wanted to say, wow.
Yeah. So on that, we want to say thank you everybody here from Scott, Billy, myself, and Colin here. Night, everybody.
All right.